Hello guys, and welcome to my review and my introduction to my new car, which is a BMW 3 Series Coupe E92 LCI version, the facelift version from 2010. This is the cheapest LCI without any accident, without any category, on the car, on the market that I found. I found for under £4,900. And in this video I will tell you why I bought it. I will tell you how I got it, my way of, finding if there's any faults with the car, which obviously could be likely in that kind of, car that is the cheapest on the market. And I will also tell you what are my next steps with the car, so stay tuned. So why did I get this car? This is like kind of a return to basics for me. I had 10 years ago a E46 Coupe, and I always wanted a BMW, and when I got it from a friend, for a good deal, I got the petrol one, Coupe as well, silver like this. And when I got it, I was like, I hated the steering, so heavy. I hated the clutch, so heavy. I hated the gearbox lever, so heavy. But I loved the ride. I loved sitting low. I wasn't, too keen on getting in the car because it was so low. But after, many years, and I had many different cars, some BMW, some other brands. I tried different style. I was so excited to get back to this car, to get back to, BMW. Because other cars, were not so engaging, like the Mercedes, like the Audi, were not so, involving into driving. And now when I got back, made that 10-year circle and I got back to it, I love the way I can feel the clutch. I love the way, I can feel the steering, which is so heavy. But other cars I had were automatics mostly, and obviously it took away a lot from the driving experience. So we are heading towards a time where there will be only automatics, electric cars and all that stuff. So I just wanted to have that, maybe hopefully not the last, but close to the last blast in the car, that you can feel everything. That's why one of my wish list car would be Porsche 911 with that 7-speed manual gearbox, which should be amazing to drive. But that just a side note for you. The other reason as well for this car was because it's a 6-cylinder. I always wanted to try 6-cylinder diesel. I had a 6-cylinder petrol. They sound amazing in the BMW. The 6-cylinder diesel, I didn't know. I just heard it on the road. I never tried it myself. And to be honest, there is a saying that it's not a proper Beamer if it's not 6-cylinder. And there is some truth in that. Obviously now we're going to, as well, there's mostly the 4-cylinder ones, the new ones. But honestly, the difference, I had a 320D 4-cylinder, and it's the worst by far sounding diesel I've ever heard. And this one, 6-cylinder, is by far, I think, the nicest I've ever heard diesel. And I had a 6-cylinder V6 Mercedes before, and I thought, that was like, very nice sound. But this is even better, and I'm amazed how BMW can make a 4-cylinder sound so bad that it's so gruff, so especially when you rev it, it's so annoying, the sound, that it's hard to bear. And the 6-cylinder is so nice, so refined, you could say. The sound is really involving as well on the higher revs, and on the low revs it's got that gruff, that grunt, that sound that makes you feel like it's a 6-cylinder petrol. So it's really, if you want to go for a car, go for the 6-cylinder if you want, still have some sound and some decent, economy. That was the other reason I wanted. As well, with this car, I wanted M Sport. I had the E92 petrol 2 years ago, automatic petrol 6-cylinder SE, and I wanted now, the LCI, which is the facelift, which has a bit more bhp and looks a little bit better outside, LED all around. It's just got reversing bulbs that I need to replace with the LED ones, and the fog lights in the front, but that's it. Everything else is LED. It looks really stunning for a car from 2010. I wanted the M Sport as well because it sits lower, it looks nicer. I wanted those amazing rims, 313s. I need to refurbish them as well. And to be completely honest with you guys, I'm gonna record another video about the best car you can buy under $5,000, and this will be on top of the list. How I managed to get this for $5,000, under $5,000, is really amazing and then beyond me. I think that when I was buying as well, the guy had it for 5.5, and then he dropped the price, and I just called him because I crashed my other car, not crashed, but had a bump in the Mercedes. That's why, I don't have it anymore. They had to write it off. You could see it, probably the little bump over here somewhere. I'm going to show you in the corner, but they decided to write it off. They decided that it was over £8,000 to fix a wing and a bumper and this broken steering rack. So, whatever happened, unfortunately, but I'm happy to have this car as well. I like to change cars, to try cars, and get the feedback on them as well, and pass it on to you guys. So that's the reasons why I bought this car. I knew what I wanted now. I wanted to have that manual feel of something fast yet economical, diesel 6-cylinder BMW, with low price tag as well, and this fit the bill perfectly in all areas. So that's the reasons why I bought this car. So now the part 2 is how I got it, and I'm gonna share with you guys how I do buy the cars. And I read it somewhere in Auto Express or some other magazine for the cars, and there's these steps that I follow more or less when I buy the car, and I'm gonna share with you what I do. Obviously, first thing first, you go to see the car, walk around it, see every scratches, scrapes, everything. This car had something on the bumper. The typical for this one is the wings don't align properly all the time with the bonnet, so they're a bit higher. I knew that because I had the different cars, so you can investigate as well, try and see, check the forums and see what's the typical things you have to look out for. I knew already about this car, this thing, so I wasn't too concerned about them. The other thing, when you look around, you have your everything visually checked. If you're happy with that, you proceed to step 2, which is get the key, get in the car, put the key in and start the car. Yeah, that's step 2. In this car, I had when I put the key in, I had the key and the battery logo icon on the dashboard, so I knew that's actually good, to be honest, because I knew that the car wasn't used for a while. The guy said it wasn't used for 5 weeks, was there on the parking, and I knew that because of that battery. It could mean the battery is in general weak as well, but most of the time it means that it wasn't charged for a longer period, and this car has a battery which is recharged when you plug it in, when you put it in the ignition. So I knew that this is something that could point that the dealer is actually saying the truth. But don't trust the dealer like usual. Use common sense. I've got a device that works best on Beamers and on other cars as well. You can do diagnostics, most of the cars, but you can have something like that, or you can buy something like that for, this one I bought for £4. They do the same thing, but the Carly one is for BMW. You've got a special app, which is I think £40. extra. Now they did like a subscription model. And I just plugged it in quickly. When the dealer wasn't looking, he just left me with the car. But, you know, you can say to the dealer as well, I'm going to plug this and just, you know, if you're okay with that, you know, because I want to know what's going on with the car. And you can do all the diagnostics, whatever is wrong with the car. And you can see them here as well somewhere. I will show you now the photo. Basically, this car had glow plugs problem, all of them 6. So that could mean that the glow plugs are a problem or the ECU for the glow plugs. So, but it was really nothing. This car has 146,000 miles when I bought it. That was the reason for the price as well. But the car looks amazing inside, nowhere to show that it's so high mileage. And the only thing was the glow plugs. So I was really happy that it was only that. And then when I, you know, that step 2, I started the car, plugged the device, read everything, all the data on my phone, saved it. And then when you're in the car, when you sit and start the engine, play with everything, you know, sunroof, radio, aircon is very important, you know, run it on the max, on the cold one, all the buttons you can imagine, you just have to touch them, check the steering wheel buttons, check all the controls here if they work. When you do that, you get out of the car, go under the bonnet, car still running, see how it runs. You know, when you start the car, you see how it runs. It was a bit rough, but I knew, you know, if it's gonna settle, it's gonna be okay, because it was rough, because it wasn't started for a while. But then you go under the bonnet, check under the bonnet, look at everything, look if the engine is not very clean, you know, for some reason, which might mean that there is some serious leakage going on, and then they just clean it up just to, you know, so you don't see that. So the best thing is if the engine is, you know, all dusty, all, you know, not touched, not cleaned by anything. That's the best way to be sure that, you know, there's no issues there. So you start the car, run, check everything, then go check the bonnet, check the boot, everything, you know, that you can. Then if you're happy with that, you know, go for a test drive. Go for a test drive. I like it, you know, you have to floor it at least once, and you have to brake hard at least once. And I like to do it, switch everything off, all the music. If the guy is with you, just tell him to switch everything off. Get the windows up, drive over bumps, hear what's going on with the suspension. Just listen to the car. Don't let the guy talk to you. Make sure you've got that moment to hear it and go over the bumps, hear what's going on, because if you have some problem with suspension, that can be costly as well. So just make sure you've got, you know, you check the car around, you're happy with it, with the scrapes, with everything. Then you check, you know, the engine, how it starts, all the electronics, all the buttons, all the, you know, everything you can, and go for a test drive. Accelerate hard, find some road. You have to do that. You have to do that, and listen to the car. Go over bumps at, you know, 20-30 miles an hour. Listen to the suspension, brake hard. See if the car stops, if there's any problems. If it's only brake pads, it's nothing, but if it's discs, so you're already talking in a car like that, you know, 200-300 pounds, you can negotiate, you can ask the guy. So you have to make sure, you know, you're happy with all those things, and just test it, you know. I had a test drive on my own. That was the second dealer. When I was buying the Mercedes, it was the same. The guy just, you know, gave me the keys, and I went for a test drive myself. In this one, the same thing. The guy just gave me the keys and said, go. You know, I left, you know, my car over there that I came in, you know, rental car. And, you know, I could, you know, do myself, you know, just stop the car, floor it, listen to what's going on in the car, you know, listen, you know, see if the engine is running smooth. So I had no issues with this car. Really, like, I knew after that test drive, I knew I want this car for this price. High mileage, but it's probably motorway mileage, so it was okay. And the next thing, you know, I was trying to get with the guy was to get the MOT, get the car at least for a year, that I can sort out all the issues. But I have, you know, you never know if the guy's has, you know, somebody paid that you can get the MOT even if there's some faults. or not. But I don't like the guy to do the service, because I want to do the service myself when I get the car. I want to know what I put in the car. But the MOT is essential to have at least that year, so you can find out during that year what's going on with the car. If something new appears, then you have time to fix it before you get to another MOT. So this is what I would do, how I get all my cars, and this 3-step process of checking the car outside, inside, all the look, then the starting the car, playing with it, playing with all the buttons, all the things around, see if everything works, and check yourself. You're happy with that, you go for a test drive, you go and brake, accelerate, and you hopefully have an answer to if the car is worth it. Let go of the steering wheel. I do as well, see if it's going. It doesn't have to mean something serious, but at least you have some idea about the car. If it's like me, I bought it from the dealer, so I can always take it back in 30 days. But what's the point of that? You have to, no matter where you buy it from, unless you buy it from the official dealer, when you pay more and they do all the checks, you're pretty much sure you don't have to test drive it. But if still is, you're going somewhere, get the car, what's the hassle? You can go for a test drive, 10 minutes, and avoid later, bringing it back and all the paperwork and all the hassle, so just try this 3-step formula. Hope it works, as well for you as well. It does for me, guys. So what next for me, guys? I have delayed a bit this video, this review, because I bought the car a month ago, and then I had a problem because the bumper was so low, and I was parked on the supermarket parking, and when I was reversing, it caught the bumper and it nearly ripped it off because it has so much torque. I'm stupid, I should have known, to, when I was feeling something, just let it go. And I pulled it back and it ripped, a little bit of the bumper and the fender, the wing, which is plastic in this car. So it did a bit of damage. So I had to fix that. I have to, do that. So that's very good consumer advice for you, is to park, if you've got a low car, park it rear first, everywhere, especially when you have a curb. Just park it rear first. That's the solution. I learned the hard way, but hopefully it won't happen again. So I forgot to tell you, when I got the car as well, the news for me from the dealer was, he said it's remapped, this car. So this car usually is 245 bhp, this LCI version, this facelifted, and this one has over 300. I had an invoice. I called the company, and they said, this type of remap is going to get you to over 300 bhp and 640, I think, Newton meters. And you can feel that in this car. It's really going. It's really on the second gear, in the third gear. In the second, you can still get wheel spin, and if you floor it in the second, it's really going. And I'm like, just pressing it like halfway, trying to get to know the car. I don't want to, crash on the first corner. So I was thinking about getting the remap or the chip tuning box, but that's done for me, so I don't need to do that. For me, for this car, the next things is just to change the bulbs over. I've got to fix the glow plugs for this year, or probably the ECU, because all the 6 glow plugs show faults. So it might mean that this is the ECU, not the glow plugs themselves. And also, when I got the car to service, the guy said the rear shock absorbers are leaking, and that might, probably during the year, I'll just, slowly get to that and try to replace it. I was trying, the only thing missing in this car for me is the heated seats, which is a bit hard for me because I like the heated seats, especially in the winter. So I was trying to get a quote for heated seats installation, and one company said 450, the other company said 500 pounds. And I know this element, this heated seat element on eBay costs like £25. So one company wanted to take the car for a day and the other wanted for 2 days. So I'm really struggling, you know. If you know some good company, let me know in the comments below. But I'm thinking of doing it myself. I just don't know, you know. I just want to slide the bottom one, because there are two elements for the bottom and the backrest, but I just want the bottom one. That's it for me. I just want to have, you know, a little bit of heating and switch it off when it gets warm. So that's my plan for this car. You know, I'm really interested in modifying it a little bit. Tell me, guys, what you think about it. If you had this car or 335D, what could be nice to do next? What could be nice after that remap? I did the air filter from Piper Cross as well, the sports one. And I'm, you know, if there would be something that could, you know, make the car even faster or smoother or nicer to drive, that wouldn't be too expensive, then I'm interested in that very much. The downside of the car for now, what I feel is sometimes the drive, you know, is for me a bit soft. I know it's an M Sport, but I just feel the car a bit leaning in the corner. Maybe it's those rear shocks not working the way they should. I hope, you know, if I change them, you know, they will improve a bit. But I'm thinking, you know, maybe even shorter springs, you know, just the car will be very low. But apart from that, you know, I really, really like the car. Really sporty feel, really fast car. Economical as well. I could do probably around 500 miles without trying hard with a mixed driving city and motorway. So let me know, guys, what you think, what questions do you have about the car, about buying the car. If you want to buy the car, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and keep in touch.